Hello, Year 10, and welcome back to school, I guess, after Christmas. But obviously, we're in lockdown, so we are doing these voiceover recordings for you. We are just carrying on with what we were doing before. So, last lesson that we did before Christmas, we were doing about the body's first line of defense. So, before a pathogen gets into your body, today we are talking about white blood cells. So, what happens when a pathogen does make its way into your body? So what I want you to do is write down the date and the title and the LO, and then I want you to try and do these starter questions. You can take as long as you need. If you pause the video now, and I will reveal the answers in 5 seconds. Okay, so how does your body defend itself against pathogens when? So number one, when you eat a burger that isn't cooked in the middle. So you have a chance to get salmonella from this food poisoning. So that is actually something you have put inside your body. It goes down to your stomach, and the pathogen is actually destroyed by your stomach acid. So your stomach acid is what your body uses to defend itself. Number two, what happens, how does your body defend itself if something goes into your eye? So it produces tears to flush out whatever got into your eye. And remember, tears are antibacterial as well. Number three, you're bombarded with microbes all around you at all times. So the main defense is your skin, that stops pathogens getting inside your body. So skin over most areas of your body, that's what's stopping microbes getting in. And number four, if you fall over and graze your elbow, obviously that makes a hole in your skin. It makes a gap that pathogens can get into. So your body scabs over and it closes that gap as quickly as it can, so nothing will get in. Right, white blood cells. So white blood cells are the protectors inside our bodies. Okay, so they protect us from pathogens if they manage to get past our first line of defense. So if they manage to get into our body. There are 3 different ways that white blood cells can help destroy pathogens and stop us from getting ill, and I will go through these now. So, phagocytosis is the first one. It looks like a scary, confusing word, but it is easy enough to remember, trust me. So, phagocytosis, that is the hardest word we're going to come across today. So, here I have a picture of a white blood cell. So there's our white blood cell and there are our pathogens. So what happens is the white blood cell, first of all, detects chemicals that are coming from the pathogens. So once it's detected these chemicals, then it actually starts to move closer towards the pathogens. And then after this, it actually ingests the pathogens. So the pathogens are now inside the white blood cell. And then once they are inside the white blood cell, it uses enzymes to destroy the pathogens. So the pathogens break up the enzymes break up the pathogens so they're no longer harmful to us. So all it is you've got a white blood cell, detects that there are pathogens nearby, goes towards it, ingests them, and breaks them down so that the pathogens can't hurt us. I want you to write down the information that is on this page, please, but do it in your own words. You don't have to do the drawings if it won't help you. It's just make notes for yourself the way that it will help you. Okay, so put a big subheading of phagocytosis and then write down what phagocytosis is. So pause the video here and do that. I will carry on in 5 seconds. Right, the next thing it does is it produces antibodies. So down here I have my white blood cell. Over here I have my pathogen. Obviously they don't look like that in real life. That is just a cartoon version, obviously to help you kind of remember what it looks like. So pathogens actually have, where did I write it? So these here are called antigens. Okay, so pathogens have these structures on the outside, they are called antigens, and the shape of those antigens is individual to each pathogen. So in this case, the white blood cell is releasing antibodies. These antibodies attach to the antigens, and that begins a process where the pathogen gets destroyed. So on the slide before, we talked about how phagocytosis happens and white blood cells can ingest it and break it down, but that's not the only way that they can get rid of pathogens. So they can release antibodies that are specific to the pathogen and bind to the antigens, and that causes the pathogen to start to break down. So something you need to know about antibodies is they are very, very specific. They have a complementary shape to only one type of antigen. So remember, antigens are these things that are on the outside of the pathogen. You therefore need different antibodies for each pathogen. So there are some examples here. So obviously in real life they're a lot more complicated than this. They're not just circles and squares, but this makes it easier for you to visualize and remember. So this, let's say this is the pathogen for coronavirus. These antibodies are only complementary to the antigens that are on the outside of coronavirus. Okay, so they will only work with that disease. Whereas let's say that this one here is just the common cold, then that has got different antibodies. You can't use these antibodies for the common cold to get rid of coronavirus. They are different shapes, they are different diseases. Antibodies as well, once they are produced, a few copies of them stay in the body. So if we catch the same disease again, our body is immediately ready to fight against it. So once you have all of these antibodies in your system, they stay there. Not loads of them, but a small amount stays behind. So your body can remember how to fight the disease if you get it again. So I want you to take a few minutes, pause the video now and write down about antibodies, please. So do a big subheading of antibodies and write down all the relevant information. I will continue in 5 seconds. Okay, antitoxins. So this is the last way that it can defend against pathogens. So here we have our white blood cell, here we have our pathogens. So pathogens actually produce toxins. So here's my little toxins here, and these are the things that actually make us feel unwell. So these toxins that the pathogens are putting into our body, that's actually what makes us sick and gives us the symptoms. What our white blood cells can do is that they can produce antitoxins. So these antitoxins actually bind to the toxins, and that means that these toxins can't affect our cells. They don't work anymore. So they just neutralize the toxins basically. And that's all antitoxins do. So what I want you to do again is pause the video. I want you to do a big subheading for antitoxins, and then I want you to write down all the relevant information and draw pictures if you would like to. Okay, and the last thing I want you to do is complete the questions that I have attached on Show My Homework. Now these questions, I actually do want you to send evidence of your answers, please. I want you to send it via online submission on Show My Homework. You can take a picture of it, or you can just do the questions on a Word document and upload that. Any way you want to do it, just make sure there's a way that you can send it through Show My Homework. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day.